saw this quote by the late Tony Hsieh, who was the CEO of Zappos. I got fortunate opportunity to meet Tony on a couple of occasions at the Downtown Project, which is the collection of businesses that he was investing in downtown Las Vegas. And so I saw this quote that said, "If energy were free, what would we do differently?" And what he was thinking about is if a particular cost in the business, like in your business, imagine if it's labor, imagine if it's storage, imagine if it's supplies. If a particular cost in the business was free, what would we do differently? And it was a thought exercise to prompt you to think about how you might solve or invest in your business differently if you remove the constraints of some of the costs or some of the problems that you just assume, you take them for granted. They exist in the business and you assume that you can't change those things. And so when I saw this, it reminded me of this workshop I was in 10 years ago or something. I was running my video production company and the facilitator wrote up on the board, what is one X factor in your business, one thing in your business that today is a difficult thing, but if it became infinitely easier, could be a huge competitive advantage. And so I want to talk through this because I think all of us have some problem in our business. And if you can turn that problem into your greatest competitive advantage, then think about the marginal improvement you'll have over all of your competitors who may think that problem is just etched in stone. So let's talk through this. When I was in this workshop and I wrote down for me, what was this X factor in my business? It was labor. I had this video production company that did live sporting events. And as we got those events, we'd secure the contract. I'd be all excited that we had a signed contract and proposal. And then it was kind of like, all right, now the work starts. Now we have to go find the crew and we have to coordinate schedules and make sure people are available and cross our fingers that we're able to get the people to work this event because it was a really logistics heavy business. And so for me, those people, those camera crews were the hardest thing in the business. It was the thing that kept me up at night, staffing, the having to replace crews when schedules changed, the making sure people were adequately trained. This was long before Trainual. And that's what kept me up. And so that's what I wrote down is like the labor in my business, the camera operators in my business. So I went through this exercise. If that thing was infinitely easier, if I had hundreds or maybe thousands of camera operators just at my beck and call, ready to go, fully trained, knew exactly what needed to be done, and they were just waiting for my call, how would that impact my business? And so I started to think, well, it would make the coordination of events so much easier. We wouldn't have to have weeks of coordination and finding crews for every one-off event. We would just go to our database and send out a text blast and figure out who could work the event and book the first people that raise their hand. We'd be able to do events all across the country if we had pre-selected, pre-trained crews in the cities that we didn't even have events yet. And so for me, that exercise, that idea of thinking about what is the difficult thing in my business, that became my competitive advantage. As I left that workshop and I immediately called my director of operations and I said, hey, I've got this idea. I'm sure a lot of you have gone to a workshop or a conference and then immediately called everyone back at the office and said, drop everything. Here's this great idea. This actually was a game-changing idea for us because we started developing the training to find and train and prepare crews in advance of needing them. We found contractors, people that were working in video production, and we offered them the prospect of future work. And we said, hey, we're expanding in your area. We're going to be booking events in your area. Are you interested in being one of our certified videographers, one of our crew members? And almost every time we got a yes, because people are looking for more work. And so we took them through this online training where we showed them videos. We explained how our events worked. We taught them about our business and we got them our seal of approval that they're ready to work events on our behalf. And so then we had this database of people across the country that were ready to do events and just eager to get out and work for us. And we could now start to focus on a very narrow problem of just booking events, find and book events without having to worry about the crews. So we also had a set way of paying these crews. We had day rates and we had food stipends and we had travel fees. And these These were all just policies that were baked into our training. And so they knew exactly what they were going to get paid for working an event for us. If they were driving to the event, what they'd get reimbursed. If it was a 5-hour event versus a 12-hour event, they knew exactly what they'd get paid. And they knew how we would handle equipment if they were renting their equipment to us or if we were shipping equipment to them. All of that was figured out in advance so that when we booked events, we didn't have to do that on a one-off basis. We had a turnkey way to staff the events, and we knew exactly what our cost structure would be. Then we could focus just on booking the events. That made the business so much more efficient. And so the challenge that I would share with all of you is think about what is that thing in your business. Like Tony Hsieh mentioned, if it's energy, if it's labor, if it's storage, what is the thing that costs a lot in your business, that costs a lot of money, that costs a lot of time? Start to think through, what if that was our competitive advantage? What if that thing we could figure out how to do 10 times or 100 times more efficiently? Think about how that would change your company compared to your competition. I'm curious what that is for your business. So reach out to me at Chris Ronzio on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Send me what the X factor in your business is. What's the thing that you're going to work on that's a game changer for your company?